So what is your music like? If you had to describe it to someone, maybe even, you know, briefly, how would you describe what you do musically?
Yeah, the best way I think I can describe it in words, and it's the hardest thing for composers to describe their music in words. But I mean, I work between Indian and Western classical traditions. And so each of those traditions has different things that they do really well. And because they're actually, frankly, very different from one another, I mean, they both have kind of like scale type of systems, they both have rhythm systems. But other than that, they just emphasize really different things. So
Hmm.
Indian classical music emphasizes, melody, and then like very specific kinds of rhythmic things. And then Western classical music, because of notation, does counterpoint and harmony in a way that Indian classical music just doesn't. And so there are these different. It kind of starts with those elements and it draws them together in different ways. So I would say it's kind of a blend of parts of Indian classical music and parts of Western music that have eventually just synthesized into like a single style for me.
Okay, so it's like the fusion cuisine of music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. So, in fact, I noticed on your website that you have, when you have the catalog part of your website where people can see different pieces that you've written and where they can buy it and all that kind of stuff, you have a Western classical section, and then you have your choral section, but you also have your Indian traditional section, which I think
Ooh,
is really awesome.
yeah.
And it's of course helpful when you're navigating your website, but it also kind of helps people understand that you're conceptualizing these things as not only, it sounds like, just I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like thinking of them as two separate things, but as two separate things that can live together.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's also saying, I'm glad that you caught that on my website because it's a recent change. Like, shout out to my amazing assistant, Melanie, who has done so much work to put this website together in the pandemic.
Uh-huh.
But before it really used to only be Western classical music instruments. And then I thought, no, I want an Indian classical singer to be able to go to my website and see a section that is pieces that they can perform. Like, I want
Uh-huh.
a sitar player, a tabla player to feel that it's not just like, oh, I've got to fit into something else. It's like, no, there's something really for me here. And I mean, I take that very seriously because, I am both of these cultures. So I'm not like doing something from my culture and a foreign culture. They're both my culture. And I don't want audiences or performers of either culture to feel like they're the lesser ones. They're both
Right.
equally important.
Right. Yeah. In fact, I'm glad you bring that up because that you are both cultures, and I'm interested to know what you think, how you think of that in terms of identity. In the Oxford catalog, do you have a piece that's like a short Indian? I guess, is it Indian classical, or would you call it Indian? Is it called Terakita? Is that
Tarakita, yeah,
Tarakita?
exactly. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And it is kind of based in Indian classical music. Yeah.
okay, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is a piece. I mean, like I was saying, earlier, so much of my music works between Indian and Western classical music. And most of it is for professionals. But in this case, I was actually working with a choir in downtown Los Angeles called Urban Voices Project. And they're a choir that is, people who are currently or recently homeless. And so, I mean, this is a choir that I loved so much. They have just such a beautiful vibe about them. And I just started teaching them Indian classical music. And they were so fascinated by the Indian rhythms that I said, okay, let me just write a quick thing for them to sing. Like, this will just be a really fun thing. And I mean, I think sometimes when you write a piece, again, built from relationship, built out of like a genuine love for a group of people that you just want to see them like have something that they can just dig their teeth into. This was that piece. And I mean, I had no idea when I wrote this piece that it would have the reach that it does. But somehow it's just this combination of Indian rhythmic syllables. They're kind of onomatopoeic syllables that come from like the tabla or the sitar. And so it would be kind of the equivalent of a scat in jazz, but it's just manageable enough and in layers that, a high school choir could handle it. There are patterns that you can just kind of memorize and then feel how your tongue feels when you sing it. And I always say, like, learning a different language and especially learning Indian classical music it's like teaching your tongue to do things that it would never do if you were just a
Uh-huh.
Western classical musician.
Uh-huh.
So it's been fun. It's been really fun to watch so many different choirs kind of get their mouths around it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hadn't come across it until I came to your website, and I downloaded the MP3 there from your website. Do you care if I play a little bit of it during the final
Oh,
version of
sure.
the
Go ahead.
episode?
Yeah.
When did that come out though?
Just in January, January 21st.
Oh, okay. All right. So then I don't feel so stupid for not having seen it because
Oh no, yeah, the piece is from 2016, but Oxford took it in
got
2021.
it. Okay, that's great. Because like I don't know if you've heard, there's been this whole pandemic thing, and not much choir has been happening in the last year.